mound, the offense struggles. You see it all the time at all levels. I don't know if the offense maybe feels like they can take the foot off the accelerator, so to speak. But, yeah, it'd be nice to see the team put up a crooked number in the first inning and give David some run support as he hits Evan Johnson. So Elmhurst will get a one-out base runner here, and it'll be Brett Veracruz. Veracruz, the starting shortstop. Comes in at .330, has 1 home run, 13 knocked in. As a team, Elmhurst hitting .281. So looking for their first CCIW win of the 2026 season. 0-5 in conference play, 6-18 overall, and currently riding a 6-game losing streak. And I said this just a minute ago, if you're Wheaton, kick them when they're down. Right? 0-6 in conference play. They've lost 6 in a row. You want to come out of this weekend with them being 0-8 in conference play and on a 9-game skid.
Yeah, and the first game's always important, too. You don't want to give them any confidence to carry over in the next two, so it'll be nice to get this one. This one's at home. I believe the other two are at Elmhurst, so chance here to get one in front of the home fans. We got a nice crowd here, as you mentioned. Yeah, good crowd here today. We got, a lot of that has to do, of course, with the free food from 302. If you're a Wheaton College student and you want a free burger, come on over to Lee Pfund and get yourself a free burger. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Headland bobbles it, and everyone will be safe. So first and second with one out here in the inning. And talk about baseball being a game of inches here, Tyler. Evan Johnson was able to just get a piece of strike 3, foul tipped it out of the middle. Ryan Cartwright then was hit by a pitch on his next pitch. And then right here, that ball in and out of the glove of Nathan Headland. What could have been a 1-2-3 first inning has turned into runners on first and second with one out for the Jays' most dangerous hitter, and he hits a bloop over the head of the second baseman, Headland. It's scooped up by Engel, and Elmhurst will score here in the first on an RBI single by Zach Conrad. Yeah, that's big for this Elmhurst team. As we mentioned, scoring has been a bit of an issue for them this season. So getting on the board early is a good way to get that going, and already, as you mentioned, them capitalizing on some early miscues.
Yep, that's how you got to do it. You got to take advantage of errors, and if you're the Thunder, you got to bear down right here. David, try to get a ground ball someplace and get out of this inning, giving up just the 1 run, and then let your offense hopefully get to work. And there's that curveball from David Levengood. The bottom just drops out of it at the last minute, and Rock Smith swings over the top of it. It's 0-1 on the first baseman. 295 on the year. Team leading 3 home runs. Team leading 19 RBI. Both runners go, and both runners will be safe. Veracruz steals third. Conrad steals second. And you can see Elmhurst, they are pushing the envelope here in the first inning. They have 2 on with 1 out, trying to take advantage of it and put up a crooked number here in the top of the first.
Yeah, that's a great way to manufacture runs when you find a way to get the runners over and get dangerous early.
Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Smith. And if you're David, now you need that strikeout with runners on second and third, so maybe go back to that hook. Or, I don't know, 1-2, maybe elevate the eyes a little bit, go fastball high. Let's see what he does. The 1-2 goes fastball and strikes him out. That's a big second out for Levengood, 2 away here in the first. Timothy O'Connell, the second baseman, 286, 1 home run, 12 knocked in. And if you're David now, you just focus on that hitter, right? You got runners on second and third. You know they're there, but just pay attention to that batter at the plate. That's hitting the air out to right center field. Burr and Engel converge. It'll be Tyler Burr to retire O'Connell. So a hit, a walk, an error, 2 left on. Bottom of the first coming up at Lee Pfund. Blue Jays 1, Thunder coming up. Bottom of the first inning here at Lee Pfund, and we were talking just a second ago about 302s here giving out free food today, and it's a restaurant my family and I frequent. My kids love the burgers and dogs, and me personally, I'm a fan of the spicy tater tots. It's perfect. Now I'm going to have to go over there sometime next week. Now I got myself thinking about the spicy tots. Wheaton down 1-0 here, bottom of the first. It'll be Tyler Burr leading things off. Tyler back in the lineup after missing the North Park series. And he'll ground this slowly to second. Timothy O'Connell will boot it. And Tyler will reach on the E4. Nice to see Burr back in the lineup. He got one at bat in the first game of the doubleheader against North Central. He doubled. Then he came out of the game, came back in as a pinch hitter in game 2, but didn't play in the field and then missed the North Park series. So it's nice to have him back out there in the outfield at the top of the order. That lets Braden Engel move into that 2 spot, vacated by James Scott. James done for a while as he had surgery on his, I believe, his right hand. He's in a big cast right now, so he'll be down for a bit. So Engel, who was in that 6th spot when he first came back, now up into the number 2 hole. He'll slap it out of play. Tyler over at first, 3 steals and 5 attempts. Engel on the year, 259. He's 7 for 27. But he's been really making his mark defensively for the Thunder. He's made a number of highlight reel catches since his return, and he'll line a base hit into right field. So the first 2 reach against Jonathan Boyles here in the first, and that's something you'll see a lot of against Boyles. He's allowed 55 hits this year in 36 innings of work. What he doesn't do is walk anybody. He also doesn't strike anybody out. He only has 7 strikeouts and 8 walks in 36 innings. So kind of the definition of a pitch-to-contact guy.
Yeah, that just means you got to hit it where they aren't and run the base as well.
This is a guy who's done a whole lot of hitting them where they aren't this year. This is Jack Gill at 396. 3 home runs, 25 knocked in. We got a slight breeze here today, not nearly as vicious as it's been here over the first couple of weeks at home. It's about 8 to 10 miles an hour out from left to right. That's going to be called strike 1 on Gill. Jack 396, those 3 home runs, 25 knocked in, both of those team high. And he's been even better as of late, hitting .489 in his last 12 games. And he'll turn and smoke this out to right. Evan Johnson watches it go. A 3-run homer to right for Jack Gill. Puts the Thunder up 3-1.
Johnson didn't even have a chance at that one. He watched that all the way over the fence. And a great way to get on the board, picking up your pitcher after the first run. And what we talk about, complimentary baseball, there it is right there. The bat's getting hot early.
Yeah, Evan Johnson for a second didn't know where the baseball was. He's out in that sun field. The low setting sun makes right field hard, so he was covering his eyes with the glove, and then he found it and just kind of stood straight up and turned and watched it go. So home run number 4 of the season for Jack. RBI 26, 27, and 8, 27 and 28. And now it'll be Charlie Schofield, the team's leading hitter, freshman at .413 on the year with 24 knocked in. Batting average good for 5th in conference play. Well, that's what you want. You said it. You give up that run in the first inning, really a defensive mishap that allowed that run to score. Without the error, that run doesn't score. Offense comes right back and picks up their starter here in the bottom of the first. 2-0 to Charlie is rolled to the right side. Rock Smith will win the race to the bag for the first out. One away for Mason Dial.
And nobody likes to see that more than Headland either after the ball dropped at second base. Don't have to feel bad for too long when your offense picks you right back up. I think with that setting sun a little to the left of home plate, we've seen a little bit of trouble over there, even on those ground balls.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that'll play a little bit of a factor until the sun gets further down.
Pitch up and in on Mason, 1-0. Yeah, especially on maybe some of those high choppers. You know, if a ball stays low, you can keep your eyes down at the turf, but if something's going to bounce up around your waist or your numbers, all of a sudden you're looking straight into that sun. Dial skies it well off to the right and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mason. But you're right, an error on each of the second basemen, and a couple of balls hit to Evan Johnson out there in right field, and off the bat, he had no idea where the baseball was. Now 1-2 on Dial. Mason's a hitter who lives out in right center field, so we'll see if he attacks that way here on 1-2. Boyles deals. He does try to go to right, but pushes it foul. So Thunder trying to get back to 500 with a win today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch high. When you look at the Thunder schedule so far this season and what they've been able to do against the competition they've done it against, this is a team that was picked in the preseason polls to finish 7th in the CCIW. They've already taken on 3 of the 4 best teams in the conference already. Here's the 3-2 to Dial, and that's a base hit to right center field for Mason. So the Thunder 3 hits, all towards that right side of the diamond, and that's a hit for Mason. He now has hits in 12 of his last 13.
Yeah, I think with this matchup, especially with Boyles on the mound, I think every hitter feels like they can be patient and wait for their pitch, and a lot of good selection so far.
Yeah, you look at who the Thunder have played so far. They've already played North Park, who sits in first place. And it's popped up in the air to shallow right. Johnson shading his eyes, and he'll make the catch on Chris Lynham for out number 2. They've already played North Park. They lost both to North Park. They split a pair with Milliken. They took 2 out of 3 from Augustana. Those are the 1, 2, 3 teams in the CCIW. They swept North Central, who they're tied with right now. The only team in the top half of the standings they haven't played yet is Illinois Wesleyan. They still have all their games against Carroll, all their games against Carthage, and all of their games against Elmhurst. If you're a Thunder fan, you got to feel pretty darn good about the way this schedule is shaping up down the stretch. Carroll, Carthage, and Elmhurst, a combined 5-16 in conference play. And obviously you have to play the games. You got to win, but you've played the quote-unquote toughest part of your schedule already.
Yeah, they definitely found a good recipe, too. As you mentioned, 5-4 in the conference, so they're sitting right where they want to be.
Yep.
Going into the rest of the season, I think the schedule sets up well for them to really do some damage.
Here's Sean Dimitrovich. And Sean with an opposite field base hit to left center field. Good piece of hitting. You talk about staying patient. Sean just staying back on that and lining it the other way. So 3 of the 4 hits have been the opposite way for Thunder hitters so far here in the first inning.
Yeah, just love the patient approach from everyone up at the plate. It's working really well right now, and I think when the hitter in front of you gets on, it gives you a little bit more confidence in the way that the bats moved around in this first inning. I think everyone's feeling a little confident now.
I mean, it's cliche, but hitting is contagious. I mean, it truly is. When you're able to be up there, and there are times you talk about kind of a comfortable or an uncomfortable 0 for 4. There are pitchers that you can go 0 for 4 against, but you don't walk out of there feeling like you were beat. Like these feel like comfortable at bats for the Thunder so far. And here's Nathan Headland. He'll look at strike 2 on the outside corner. Nathan at an even 250 has a home run and 12 knocked in. He's another hitter who likes hitting the ball the other way. Look at an 0-2 from Boyles. Missing outside, 1-2.
Yeah, you talk about hitting being contagious. Mistakes can be contagious as well, and I think it was really key to get out of that first inning without any more damage, and I think that kind of helped right the ship here early.
1-2 now. Headland down on strikes. Thunder pick up 3 on the 4th home run of the season from Jack Gill. Top 2 coming up. Thunder up by a pair. And Tyler, you were talking in the bottom of the first inning about how the Thunder offense picked up David Levingood, but I think there was also a little bit of David picking up his defense right in the top of the first inning. Elmhurst had runners on second and third with one out. He was able to strike out Rock Smith, get Timothy O'Connell to fly out, and keep it a one-run inning. So it's about both sides, lifting each other up. When your defense struggles as a pitcher, you got to pick him up, and then the offense has to back him up on the other side.
Yeah, it's really key, and complementary baseball is something every coach strives for, and that was a great way to get themselves out of that inning and then put some runs on the board, and now let Levingood pitch with a little bit of a lead.
Yep, he's up by 2. He'll face 7, 8, 9 for the Blue Jays here in the second. This is Javier Cervantes, the designated hitter. And he's gotten ahead of Levingood 3-0. And that's the other thing that's allowed David to be so successful over his last 3 starts. He's only walked 4 batters in his last 22 2/3 innings. The control has been there. And he'll throw the fastball right down the middle. He's had control of everything. His fastball, his off-speed stuff. He's been painting corners. He's been putting the baseball exactly where he's wanted to. Make a 3-1 pitch to Cervantes. And he'll walk him. David walked 2 in those 7 2/3 innings against North Central, but man, he was so good in that start last week. Now Landon Truong, the third baseman. Truong 3 for 17 this season. That's a 176 average. And it'll be ball 1. It's noisy over there to our left.
Oh, yeah, we got the fans lined up. I think they're ready for their burgers. A little bit of anxiousness over there.
Some hangry fans over there.
There might be a little bit. Some
hangry Wheaton Thunder fans. It might get a little bit noisy over there while they wait for their burgers. I already had mine. I ate it in about 90 seconds before we went live. 1-0 fastball on the outside corner, called strike 1. 1-1 on Truong. David Levingood, you go back, it's really started for him on the 19th against Concordia Chicago. That was a game here at home that the Thunder lost. They lost that game 4-1, but that was the first of 3 consecutive starts for David where he went at least 7 innings, and that one he gave 7 hits, 3 earned runs. And then against really the best offense the CCIW has to offer in Augustana, gave up just 1 earned run over 7, and then those 7 2/3 innings against North Central. He has been as good a pitcher as you will find in D3 over these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, his ability to go deep into games is really key, and even with his pitch count getting up, I think he still feels confident that he can throw what he wants to throw, even at 100 pitches. So, hard guy to chase out.
That's such a huge point, especially in Game 1 of a series where tomorrow is a doubleheader. You want to use as few arms as possible in this game so that they're fresh for the 2 9s tomorrow. So, if you can get 7 out of David here tonight and go right to JD or right to Billy Kessler or something like that, then, all of a sudden you have a whole bullpen fresh for 2 games tomorrow. But he walks the 7-8 hitters back-to-back, and it's the first time in over a month that David has done that. His second walk of the game. First and second, nobody out for Marty Frega.
The left fielder.
We'll get a mound visit here. Frega at 2:06. Go ahead.
Well, that's just the approach here from the Blue Jays, I think, is good to take their time at the plate. As you mentioned, the games tomorrow are going to be important, so getting into deep counts, trying to get David out of this game as quickly as they can. So far, they've made him throw a few pitches and through these first
inning
innings.
plus. He's at 29 pitches through an inning plus. And you're right. I mean, the Thunder goal is to get David through as many innings as possible, and the Elmhurst goal is to get David out of there as quickly as they can. We'll see if they ask Frega to bunt here with runners on first and second, nobody out. Another situation where Levingood has to bear down here a little bit. 2 on, nobody out, top 2. Frega does square to bunt, and Levingood misses. That was pitch number 30 for David Levingood. And you talk about his efficiency. His last start, 107 pitches in 7 2/3 innings. 90 pitches in 7 innings And that's grounded fair down the right field line. That's trouble for Frege. Cervantes will score. Truong will stop at third. It's an RBI double for Marty Frege, and Elmhurst puts the tying run at third. Go-ahead run at second here in the second.
Yeah, there was just nothing that Schofield could do over there at first. The corners were in, thinking bunt. That was a good piece of hitting to drive that one right inside the bag.
Yeah, I don't know that even if Charlie's playing back in his natural position, I don't know that he gets to that. That was right over the bag. And now the top of the order, and Aiden Nieves will come up with 2 on and nobody out. Corners in for the Thunder. That's slapped pretty well to center, but that's Braden Engel territory. He'll make the catch. Truong will score. Frege will go to third, so it's a sac fly to center for Aiden Nieves, and we're tied at 3. And walks will hurt you. Walks will hurt you, as both batters that David Levengood has walked have come home to score here in the second.
Yeah, especially a team that struggles to score in this Elmhurst squad. You don't want to give them any free passes.
Yep. So go ahead, run at third now for Evan Johnson. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. He'll take ball 1 outside. Yeah, David not quite as sharp here in the second inning as we've seen him over his last 3, but
Right fielder, Evan Johnson.
still early. Evan Johnson swings and misses. Came in hitting .296 with 3 home runs. Well, this is a Elmhurst team that will strike out. 188 strikeouts in 24 games, about 7 a game. David could use another one here, but he's fallen behind 2-1. Three, top 2. Runner at third is Marty Frege. 2-1 from Levengood is sliced back over the head of the long line of patient students, and it's 2-2. Another place where you want to come up with your best pitch here if you're David Levengood and try to retire Johnson without Frege scoring. 2-2 from Levengood. Misses outside, 3-2.
Yeah, you get a little scared of the runner at third. You don't want the curveball to get away. So Cartwright, see what they go with here, but he's got to make sure he keeps everything in front.
David comes set, payoff pitch. Challenges him with the high heat, throws it past him, and there is the third strikeout for Levengood, and that's a big one. Keeps the runner at third with 2 outs, and now Brett Veracruz. Veracruz reached on an E4 his first time up. But again, another situation where David has an opportunity to limit the damage here, as Veracruz will take strike 1. You have to think that David's going to settle into this game at some point, right? So the earlier he can find his rhythm and the fewer runs he can allow, the longer he'll be able to go.
Yeah, he's not going to walk the first 2 batters of every inning.
Right. The 0-2. It's a swing and a miss by Veracruz. Levengood looking for strikeout number 4, trying to strand a runner at third. Veracruz pops it down the right field line. Schofield will give it a chase, but that'll end up out of play. Still nothing in 2. And limiting the damage is something I've talked about at length with this Wheaton team over the course of this season. Solo home runs aren't going to kill you. A run here, a run there is not going to kill you. But if you can find ways to keep this run from scoring, that's grounded foul. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like if you can save a run, anytime you get a runner at third base with less than 2 outs, you expect that run is going to come home. So anytime that you can keep that run from scoring, it's almost like you picked up a run on your side.
Well, especially when you have a game where you've scored 17 runs and haven't won that baseball game,
Right.
You know how limiting the damage, how important that could be.
Play to third, line him the long throw, and Charlie Schofield picks it out of the rubber pellets. So for a second straight inning, David Levengood strands a runner at third. Ryan Cartwright will lead things off for the Thunder here in the bottom of the second. 3-3 the score. 3 runs on 4 hits in the first inning against Jonathan Boyles. And really good approach at the plate by the Thunder hitters. You talked about it. Patient, taking the ball the other way. Of course, Jack Gill's home run was a moonshot to right. But generally speaking, waiting back on the ball, taking it the other way, which is something the Thunder have done all season long. Alleyway to alleyway, taking the ball the other way. It'll be Cartwright, Burr, and Engel here in the second. Ryan grounds it to third, scooped there by Truong, and he'll retire Ryan Cartwright. 1 out in the second. Back to the top of the order, and Tyler Burr. Tyler reached on an E4. Came in to score on Jack Gill's 4th home run of the season. Really love to see Tyler get back to the way he was swinging the bat about the first 12 to 15 games of the season. He has 7 hits in his last 8. Has hits in 7 of his last 8 games, but he's just 7 for 34 at the plate over that stretch. He's had 1 hit in every game. His first 12 games of the season, he had 10 extra base hits, and that's a good start there as he lines a 1-out base hit into center field. And the Thunder are going to need him to get on base at a high clip with James Scott out of the lineup. James was putting up an on-base percentage close to 600 before he was injured, so they're going to need to find somebody else. You don't expect anybody to get on base at that clip, but if Tyler can get on base 2 or 3 times a game at the top of the order, this Thunder team's going to continue to score a whole lot of runs. Now Braden Engel will take strike 1. Braden singled to right his first time up.
Yeah, talk about taking a beating in the season, though. Just with the hit by pitches from Scott, now the injury to his hammy. He has taken it to the limit here, and he's pushed it as hard as he can. I actually have a class with him, and I had to try to watch him take a test on his computer and type with 2 fingers and what have you. You just got to feel bad for the guy, but obviously it's next man up mentality for this team, and they're doing it pretty well so far.
There's some outfield depth on this team as well, with Tyler and Braden Engel, and you look at Sean Dimitrovich and Caleb Schauer as there is a fly out to center by Engel. So there is some depth out there to fill in. But, yeah, it's hard to replace. James in 21 games was hitting .386. He had a .564 on-base percentage. You talk about those hit by pitches. He was hit 22 times in 21 games. He was on pace to break the NCAA D3 record. So it's not going to happen this year. But, it's a tough beat, tough loss. And the offense, you've definitely seen it since he went down, as Gill will roll out for 2-3. So a 1-out base hit is stranded. 3rd inning coming up. Two innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts for David Levengood through 2 innings. He's thrown 41 pitches. 25 of them have been strikes, and he'll face the middle third of this Elmhurst lineup here in the third. Zach Conrad, Rock Smith, Timothy O'Connell, 4, 5, 6. Conrad with an RBI single to center his first time up. He didn't waste any time. He swung at the first pitch. And he went around on that pitch. So 1-1 on Conrad, who came in at 360. That RBI in the first was his 19th of the season. He's up there swinging. He's only walked 4 times in 89 at-bats this season. Lined this softly to left, but over there is Dimitrovich, and the sure-handed left-hander makes the catch for out number 1. That's 4 in a row. Retired by Levengood, and it's a big first out given how the second inning went.
Yeah, we did see in the first inning that the first out, then the mistakes too. So we got to make sure to cut down on those mistakes as well. But it's nice to see Levengood get right back on it, and you can get discouraged after giving up 3 runs, especially only on the 2 hits.
Yep. You can get a quick inning here, kind of get him back on track, right? He's at 41 pitches through 2. You want to be somewhere in that 13 to 15 range. That typically gets you 6 to 7 innings, but anything more than that, and it's hard to go 6 when you're throwing, 18 to 20 pitches an inning. So we'll see if he can sharpen things up here a little bit in the third. This is Rock Smith. He struck out swinging his first time up. Something he does a lot. He struck out 29 times and 96 at-bats now. Swings and misses at the tight slider, 1-2, and that's the pitch that David has had working so well, diving down and away from right-handed hitters. The 1-2 now from Levengood. Tries it again, this time a little bit low, 2-2. Smith, a senior from Elmhurst. He's multi-hit games in each of his last 3. Smacks this well out to center. Engel races back. He's on the track. He's at the wall, and he's not able to make the catch. Rock Smith with his 4th home run of the season to straightaway center field, and that puts Elmhurst back out in front, 4-3.
Yeah, Smith went down and got that one. I don't think Levengood got that one as far down as he wanted to, and made him pay.
He thought, with the way Braden has played center field this year, you just assumed he was going to come back with that. And he didn't miss that by much. We have a perfect shot of it. He's straight right in front of us, and that ball went about 3 or 4 inches to the right of his glove. Squaring to bunt, dropping it down as O'Connell bunts it right back to Levengood, and he's out on the 1-3 putout. So Elmhurst hanging around. They're not going to go down without a fight here today. They're up 4-3 in the third. 2 outs now for Javier Cervantes. Cervantes walked and scored last inning.
Designated hitter for the Blue Jays, number 7, Javier Cervantes.
For David Levengood, that's 4 earned runs now given up in 2 2/3 innings. The first time he's done that in a month. Hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in a start since 3/13. That was pre-CCIW play. He gave up 4 runs in 5 innings against Crown. But still, he hasn't looked bad. The first inning very easily. We talked about he could have gotten out of that with no runs allowed. That ball hit by Rock Smith was down around his ankles. And the diving catch is made by Chris Lynham, taking a hit away from Cervantes. The defense picking up their pitcher, who gives up a run. We go to the bottom of the third. Blue Jays up 4-3. Well, the Thunder trail again. It's 4-3 Elmhurst here, bottom of the third. Blue Jays were up 1-0 after half an inning. A 3-run homer by Jack Gill put Wheaton up 3-1, but 2 runs in the second, 1 in the third for the Blue Jays to put them back out in front 4-3 here, bottom 3. Schofield, Dial, Lynham are your 3 scheduled hitters against Jonathan Boyles, and he'll start Charlie Schofield off with strike 1. Charlie's batting average coming into play today, .413, was good for 5th in CCIW play. He's also 7th in hits, 7th in doubles. It's been a really nice freshman season for Charlie, tied for the team lead with 10 doubles as well. The 0-2. Slaps it to the left. You expect the home run power will come eventually for Schofield. 6'1", 220-pound freshman. The 0-2. It's in there, called strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Jonathan Boyles. Boyles only had 1 strikeout in his last 17 innings on the mound coming into play today. He's got 2 and 2 1/3 so far here this evening. 2 is his season high. He did it in his first 2 outings. Now Dial. Mason waits back but gets underneath it, pops it to shallow right. Evan Johnson comes in and he'll make the catch. 2 quick outs, 4 in a row now, retired by Boyles, 2 away.
Yeah, I think after the platoon in the first inning, maybe the hitters now thinking they got some sort of reading or swinging at. As soon as they see a pitch, I'd like them to get into these counts a little bit deeper and be a little bit more selective like they were in that first inning.
It's where they had their success in that first. Pitch on the inside corner to Chris Lynham, 0-1. Chris flew out to right field in the first. 0-1 is fouled off his front foot, and he'll need a minute. Chris came in at .273 with a home run, 15 runs knocked in for the junior out of Huntsville, Alabama. Looking for his first hit since game 1 of the doubleheader against Augustana back on the 28th. He's 0 for his last 6. I don't think he'll get it here. He skies it to left. Frega will drift in front of the 365 mark and make the catch. That is 5 consecutive batters retired by Jonathan Boyles as we go to the 4th. David Levengood could use a quick, efficient, scoreless 4th inning here, Tyler. He's allowed 3 hits, 4 earned runs, including a home run. He has 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks. Clearly not as sharp as he has been, but still in a position where if he can settle down, he can probably give the team 6.
Yeah, he's got a chance with 7, 8, 9 again. He had the 2 walks last time. Try to get right here and get out of this one quickly, as you said.
Truong rolls it up the third base line, foul. Quickly, 0-2 on the third baseman. Truong walked in the second. He came in to score on the sac fly by Aiden Nieves. 52 pitches for David coming into the third. Only 32 strikes, which is a far cry from his start against North Central, where he threw 107 pitches, 67 of them were strikes. The start before that was even better. Through 90 pitches, 56 were strikes against Augustana. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Truong. And there's that filthy breaking ball down and away. And that's the first time I think we really have seen it on an out pitch. That's his 4th strikeout, but that's the first time he's really utilized that slider there with 2 strikes.
Yeah, and it's easier to throw that pitch when you don't have runners on the base, especially at third base. You don't have to feel as worried about it getting past or getting away. And I think he's able to execute that one a little bit better now.
Also easier when you don't have 3 strikes, or 3 balls rather, on the hitter. You can feel a whole lot more confident about throwing that ball off the plate. Now Marty Frege doubled down the first base line his first time up. Yanked it right inside the bag, and we see Charlie Schofield now. He's almost right on top of the line down at first base. 2 balls, no strikes on Frege. That was Frege's first double of the season. He'll swing 2-0, and it's 2-1. His RBI was his 6th. He has a home run. Senior out of Plainfield North. 2-1 downstairs, 3-1. So 4 strikeouts for Levengood. The strikeout numbers he continues to pile up. Trying to avoid walking the number 9 hitter here. 3 balls, 1 strike on Frege. And he'll drop it in for strike 2. Love to get a 1-2-3 inning right here in the 4th. Got to deal with Frege, though. The payoff pitch. Nope, ball 4. 3rd walk of the game. Issued by Levengood. This one misses outside, and Frege reaches for a 2nd time today, and Elmhurst has a 1-out base runner. Top of the order now, Aiden Nieves, who's 0 for 1. Sac fly to center his last time up. Struck out looking to start this one off. One of 4 strikeout victims for David Levengood. Marty, 1 steal and 1 attempt over at first base. This is an Elmhurst team that doesn't run a lot, 21 steals and 34 attempts this year. But they stole 2 bags in the first inning, as you saw him be really aggressive in that first, and it's 1-0. And I think it's been the biggest difference for me for David in this game compared to his last couple of starts is that first pitch. He was first pitch strike to about 75% of the hitters the last 2 games. Hasn't been quite as sharp here, but this is a potential double play ball. Headland fires it to first, and beating it out is Nieves. So he'll reach on a fielder's choice, hit just a little too softly, but Jack Gill will retire Frege at second for out number 2.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, it's going to be really key for him to continue to find ways to get ahead of batters, especially now that he's already gotten his pitch count up. Mm-hmm. He's got to start finding ways to be a little bit more efficient, which he has been before, and we know he can be. And, again, it's going to be so crucial for the next 2 games tomorrow for him to keep this pitch count as low as he can, get as deep as he can into this game.
This will be pitch number 65 for David. He only threw 11 in the third. He gave up the home run, but, again, kept that pitch count down, and he's at 13 so far here in this inning. At this rate, he's, unless if he can stay in this kind of area in terms of number of pitches, he's probably looking at about 6 innings. That throw down to second and in safely is Aiden Nieves. So 3rd stolen base of the afternoon for Elmhurst, and for Nieves, that's his 4th of the season. So he's in scoring position with 2 outs, and it's 0-1 on Johnson, who's 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and he struck out. Swings and misses there. He's about a fraction of a baseball away from a potential 3 strikeout game here already. He was able to foul tip the ball out of the mitt of Ryan Cartwright in the first. Next pitch he was hit, and he came in to score. 0-2 misses upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another runner in scoring position. Elmhurst has stranded 3 runners in this game. They've all been in scoring position so far. The 1-2. Levengood gets Johnson again. 5 strikeouts for David Levengood. Elmhurst strands a runner at second. First scoreless inning tossed by the reigning CCIW Pitcher of the Week. Four in a row, and 7 of the last 8 retired by Jonathan Boyles, whose best start came against Kalamazoo back on the 24th of March. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs in that one. He's given up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. 3 innings here today, and Sean Dimitrovich is 2 for 2, and Sean thought about it as it was bobbled out in right field by Evan Johnson, but he'll hold it first. Good start to the game for Sean. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. I'll bring up Nathan Edlund. Again, first pitch swinging. That ended up the way, you would have liked with a base runner, but, you talked last inning about wanting to see the team go back to what they did in that first inning that allowed them to have so much success. Take some pitches, work up that pitch count a little bit. Boyles, ball went outside. Boyles threw 26 pitches in the first inning. He's only thrown 14 since. So to your point, the team's been a whole lot more aggressive since the first.
Yeah, you don't mind the aggression if you're poking them out into good places.
Mm-hmm. Aggression is good when you're swinging at your pitch. There's a pitch you're looking for. Sometimes you get it in that first pitch of the at-bat, but you don't want to be up there guessing. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Nathan. Edlund just 5 for his last 31 at the plate, but, a big but, he has driven in 8 in that time. So 8 RBI in his last 9 games. He's been productive when he's come up with runners in scoring position. Had a couple of bases clearing doubles, had a 2-run single down the third base line. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Thunder second baseman. He'll foul this off to the right. Ooh, right off that red truck.
Yeah, it's the danger zone back there. That's parked at your own risk.
Yeah, I'm parked back there, but I'm behind a bigger car, so it would have to come down right on top of me. Throw over to first. Dimitrovich is out. Tried to claw his way back to first, but he's out on the 1-3 caught stealing. And pick up the base hit, but get erased. Now nobody on and a 1 out and a 1-2 count on Hedlund. The 1-2. Hedlund drives it out to straightaway center field. Nieves will make the catch over his shoulder. Hedlund gave it a ride, but Nieves makes the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, so part of that with that synthetic turf out there, those slides back. Could not get his handle. He was scraping his way, tried to pull himself back in, but he...
Yeah, you hit the ground and you stop. You don't really slide like you do in dirt. Now Ryan Cartwright, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out. First pitch to Ryan is high ball 1. Well, the way this one started looked like, or at least it felt like the Thunder were going to be able to put up some big numbers. Error, single, 3-run homer, 3 batters into the game, and Wheaton was up. But Elmhurst has battled back. They lead here in the bottom of the fourth, 4-3, despite being out hit 6-3. Each team with a home run. Ryan with his 0 for 1 is 7 for his last 20 at the plate. He'll sky it to shallow right. Evan Johnson over by the foul line will make the catch. And that's another scoreless inning for the Thunder. We go to the fifth. 4-3 Blue Jays. David Levengood, 68 pitches through 4 innings, just coming off of his first scoreless inning of the game, and looking to build on that as he'll face Veracruz, Conrad, and Smith. That's 3-4-5 for the Blue Jays here in the fifth. Breaking ball over strike one. Veracruz 0 for 2. He reached on an error and grounded out. Levengood, 3 hits, 4 runs. They're all earned. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts through his 4 innings. And that one just misses. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Called the ball, maybe a little high, maybe a little in, 1-1. Veracruz second on the team in batting at .330. Slider down and away, 2-1.
How about the home plate umpire in the short sleeves?
Yeah, he's tough, tougher than me in my 4 layers. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's lined down the right field line. Then it'll twist out of play, 2-2. Yeah, I got t-shirt, hoodie, Wheaton pullover, jacket. Got gloves with the fingers that I can pull back so I can write. I got a beanie in my bag if I need it. I got my hoodie I can pull up. I don't mess around. I'm gonna be warm one way or the other. 2-2 hit hard to third. Lynham gobbles it up. 1 out.
Yeah, just in the sweatshirt over here, and it's progressively getting to be a worse and worse choice for me.
When the sun starts to go down and the wind picks up, like we're blocked a little bit because we're sitting next to the production truck here to our left, but like you don't get away from it. You don't get away from it.
No.
1 out now for Zach Conrad, who's 1 for 2. Popped down the right field line, just foul. Fortunate break there for the Thunder. That ball is going to land right in between Nathan Hedlund, Charlie Schofield, and Tyler Burr. Instead lands as a strike, 0-1. Yeah, you and I had the only nice day of the year. We're here for that doubleheader.
I know, a bit worse. I was in shorts and a short sleeve shirt on that one.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That
was summer for you.
Yeah, that was a far cry from what it feels like out here right now.
Uh-huh. We'll get at least one because we play until May. You got to think at some point during April we're going to get some nice weather. No balls, 1 strike on Conrad. Foul tipped, 0-2. That's what we needed from David to settle down. Got through that 4th scoreless. Retires Veracruz to start the 5th. The high set. David out of the stretch. That's smacked back through the box by Conrad. Sharp base hit by the Elmhurst catcher, and they have a one-out base runner. Fourth hit of the game for the Blue Jays. I'm going to bring up Rock Smith, and first time up, Rock struck out swinging. Second time, he took Levengood over the 395 mark out in straightaway center field for his fourth home run of the season. And he's got a runner at first with one out. Good curveball from Levengood, 0-1.
I was wondering what he was going to start him out with because it was the curveball he got beat on last time for the home run, goes right back to it.
When you saw Rock was looking fastball because he started to pull the trigger and then held up. That ball skips away from Schofield, and Conrad will reach second on the E1. So runner in scoring position now, second error of the game on the Thunder.
Yeah, I wonder if those early stolen bases are messing with the minds out there a little bit because been a lot of checks over to first base. I wonder if they've been as part of the game plan or what, if they've been thrown off by the way they stole early.
Popped foul and out of play. Nothing and two. Yeah, I mean, a team, as I mentioned, they don't run much. They had 21 stolen bases in 24 games, but pushing the envelope here, you get an opportunity. You've talked about how this is a team that doesn't score a whole heck of a lot of runs. So when you get an opportunity to move and try to get yourself into scoring position, you take it, and they've taken advantage of it here today. The 0-2 now. This is just outside 1-2. The 1-2 now from Levengood to Smith. Again, that's launched to center, but it'll stay in the ballpark this time. Engel makes the catch. Tagging up is Conrad. Nope, he'll go back. Good throw by Engel, keeping Conrad right where he is for out number 2. And that's what Braden Engel is going to bring to this team. Not just the glove, but that arm as well, keeping that runner at second base.
Yeah, there wasn't a chance out there. He was firing, had those feet set early. I know Levengood, for a split second there, maybe a little bit scared what he saw last time.
Yeah.
That swing from Smith.
Bit of a top spin line drive more than the high fly, which is what he hit last time. So 2 outs now for Timothy O'Connell, who's 0 for 2. A fly out and a comeback or on a bunt attempt his last time. 4 runs, 4 hits, and an error for Elmhurst. 3 runs, 6 hits, and an error for the Thunder as O'Connell fouls it down the right field line. 0-2. Line still all the way back here by us. Most people aren't getting their food by the end of the game. 0-2 here from Levengood. Ooh. Looking like a strike to me, and also looked like a strike to David Levengood and Chris Lynham, who both took about 4 steps towards the dugout. Maybe a little high, I guess.
Yeah, even Conrad looked like he was getting ready to walk back to the dugout.
Mm-hmm. The 1-2 now to O'Connell. Hard hit, base hit down the left field line. That'll score Conrad. O'Connell makes the turn. He will stop at second. A stand-up double extends the lead for the Blue Jays. It's 5-3. That just kind of goes to show you that David maybe doesn't have his best stuff today. Like, he was not getting beat with 2 strikes. In his last 3 starts, he has simply, when he's gotten 2 strikes on a hitter, he has put them away. And he's just had some trouble with that here today as he's given up 5 runs now in 4 2/3 innings. But his team's still in the game, just a 2-run game, 5-3. Now Cervantes hits it to first. That's off the glove of Schofield, and beating it out is Cervantes. Rolled off the glove of Schofield. Hedlund got over there, and Levengood covered the bag. It's probably going to be scored in E3, I would imagine. Now Cartwright will come out to talk to his pitcher. Yeah, that'll go in the books as an error on Charlie Schofield. It's his second error of the season. So runners on first and third, 2 outs for Landon Truong. And this is an inning that looked like it was going to end pretty seamlessly, without incident, as the Blue Jays had a runner on first with 2 outs and a pitch to Timothy O'Connell that looked like strike 3.
Yeah, they were walking to the dugout, getting ready for the bottom of the 5th, and all of a sudden they find themselves running on the corners. And still work to do.
Third error of the game on Wheaton. First pitch to Truong. The throw down, the throw back to home, and out at the plate is Timothy O'Connell. Thunder execute that perfectly. Cartwright to Gill, back to Cartwright, nailing O'Connell at the plate. Thunder now down by 2 here in the bottom of the 5th. 5-3 Elmhurst with the lead. 5 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Blue Jays. 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the Thunder. This has not been the sharpest game for this Thunder team over this streak of about 3 weeks where they've played some really good baseball, but they're still in it. Down by 2 here, bottom of the 5th, and they got the top of the order. Burr, Engel, Gill against Jonathan Boyles. Boyles has settled in. He gave up 3 runs in the first. He's only given up 2 singles since then. One of those singles was to Tyler Burr. He was 1 for 2 with a single. He reached on an error and scored in the first, and now he's up 2-0. Boyles isn't going to hurt himself with free passes. I mentioned only 8 walks on the season in 36 innings. Hasn't walked anybody yet today. And he's gone 2-2 on Burr. Burr came in at 385. 17 runs knocked in. That's high ball 3. This is what you talked about, Tyler, right? You wanted to see the Thunder hitters be a little bit more patient. Well, here you go. Tyler Burr pushes the count full, and it's fouled off to the left and out of play.
Yeah, especially with someone like Boyles pitching, you know you're going to get quite a few pitches that you can hit. So might as well be more selective, work deeper into counts, and then pick that right one like they did in the first inning where they were hitting the ball the opposite way when they needed to and finding gaps.
3-2, that's slapped down the left field line. Fair ball. That will hop up against the left field wall, and Burr has himself a leadoff double here in the 5th inning. Look at that. You patient at the plates, you find a ball you can drive the other way, and the Thunder have a leadoff hitter in scoring position here in the 5th. For Burr, that's his 9th two-bagger of the year. I was about to say Boyles. He threw 26 pitches in the first inning. He had only thrown 24 since then. That was a 7-pitch at bat by Tyler Burr, and it ends in a double.
Yeah, it's a great piece of hitting. They waited patient, and Burr found his right pitch and was able to get it just inside that third base line.
Engel pops it to center, pops it up on the left side of the diamond. I lost that one completely. The catch is made by Landon Truong for the first out. Again, swinging at the first pitch. One away now for Gill.
Yeah, obviously you want to wait, and if it's your pitch on the first pitch, you can swing at it. But I think with a guy like Boyles, though, you can still wait because I think you'll get that same pitch a little bit deeper in the count if you need to. Make him at least work around. You might even get a better one.
He's not going to blow you away with his stuff, so you can be patient in there and say, all right, if I take strike one right down the middle, there's a chance that I'm going to get something else that I can swing at later in the at-bat. 0-1 on Gill. Jack, the big hit in the game for the Thunder, a 3-run homer in the first. He'll take it to the left, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Can't give up this opportunity here if you're the Thunder. A leadoff double, Engel, Gill, Schofield coming up. You got to find a way to get Tyler home from second base. The throw back in, and he's safe on the daylight play. Gill, 19 runs knocked in his last 12 coming into play today. Added 3 more in the first. The 0-2 now to the freshman Gill. And he swings and misses. Gill down on strikes. That is the 3rd strikeout of the game for Jonathan Boyles. That's a season high for him here in 4 2/3. And Tyler Burr still stuck at second base.
For the Thunder, number 27, Charlie Schofield.
I've talked to some pro hitters who have told me that sometimes it can be harder to hit a guy who doesn't throw as hard. You know, if you're used to, at the pro level, if you're used to 95 to 97 and all of a sudden you got somebody up there throwing 78 to 80, it can throw off your timing. And that might be a little bit of what we're seeing here today. 0-1 to Schofield, fouled off. Charlie quickly down 0-2. Boyles throwing strikes as well. 61 pitches, 63 pitches now. 48 of them have been strikes, so he is around the plate. The 0-2 now to Schofield. Charlie holds up. Wanted to pull the trigger. It's 1-2. 23 runs knocked in on the season for Schofield. Came in 4-13 on the year. He's 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. The 1-2 is hitting the air out to left center field. Nieves will make the catch. So Tyler Burr, leadoff double. He doesn't move. He's stranded. We go to the 6th. Thunder down by a pair. David Levengood's day is done after 5. 85 pitches, 5 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs. He walked 3, struck out 5. Those 85 pitches, 54 of them were strikes, and he'll turn it over to a freshman from Corcoran, Minnesota. This is Jonah Moulton. Jonah will face 8-9-1. And big stuff from Jonah, but the problem he's had is the same problem that a lot of these bullpen arms for the Thunder have had this year, and that's a lack of control. This is his 9th appearance of the season. He has 13 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings, but he's also walked 12. It's hit to right. Tyler Burr races into the corner, and that will go foul. 1-1 on the year for Jonah. His last appearance came on the 6th against North Park. Pitched a scoreless inning, struck out the side. That's some big arms in this bullpen. Some guys that can throw really, really hard. We saw Josh Ortiz a couple of games ago striking out 6 in 2 2/3 innings. The 0-2 from Moulton. And when you throw hard and you come back with that, that's just unfair as Truong goes down on strikes. 1 out in the 6th.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for the bullpen to get themselves into this game, throw up some more zeros, and the offense a chance. They've been knocking on the door even in that last inning, but I think it's only a matter of time before they find a way to break it back open again.
Here's Marty Frege. He's been on base twice, a double and a walk. And he gets started with strike 1. Yeah, if these Thunder bullpen arms can throw strikes with some consistency, this is going to be a really tough back half of the bullpen with how good Billy Kessler has been over the last month. You know what you're getting out of J.D. Van Hook and Caleb Henderson and Jack Lindsay, and dives down and away from Frege. But some of these other guys, Jack Mazurowski, Jonah Moulton, Josh Ortiz, some of these other guys that don't pitch as much, this is an opportunity in these middle innings for them to lift some eyebrows.
Yeah, it's a great chance to, especially as the season gets near the end, to prove yourself that you need to be on those mounds in the big games.
To fly out to left, can of corn for Braden Engel, 2 outs. So David didn't have his best stuff, didn't have his best control today, I think, more than anything. His stuff was there, I mean, as evidenced by the 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. But the control was just a hair off for David today. And, pitches that he was pinning to the black were a couple inches outside, or pitches that maybe in previous starts were down around the ankles. This time was around the shin, and it was able to be hit. So, just not as pinpoint with his accuracy as he has been, but did his job, gave his team 5, kept him in the game.
Yeah, and props to Elmhurst for figuring out ways to execute. Even when Levingood's off, it doesn't mean he's that easy to hit against, and they're able to find their opportunities and take advantage of the little small mistakes, the early walks, the errors.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's been the difference in the game. They've taken advantage of the Wheaton mistakes so far, and Wheaton hasn't really been able to take. Elmhurst hasn't made many mistakes. They made 1 in that first inning, but that's been it. Fastball down to Aiden Nieves, who's 0 for 3. 0 for 2, rather, at a sac fly to center back in the 2nd, driving in his 13th run of the season. 2 balls, 1 strike for Jonah Moulton. Ground ball hit to the right side, easy hop to Headland. That's the first 1-2-3 inning of the game, thrown by Jonah Moulton. Maybe that's the inning that gets the Thunder offense going. Jonathan Boyles into his 6th inning of work, and this is something that he's given Elmhurst this year. Even with his ERA close to 9 on the year, he's gone at least five innings in 6 of his 7 starts this season, make it now 7 of 8 with his 5 today, and he'll face Dial, Lynham, and Dimitrovich here in inning 6. Mason 1 for 2, a single to right and a flyout. Only 65 pitches for Boyles through 5. Pitch 67 is a fastball pinned to the outside corner, 1-1 on Dial. Mason, that single to right, has given him hits now in 12 of his last 14. An average climbing close to 330 for the senior. Foul to the right. Mason missed all of last season. And he'll look at a 1-2 pitch from Boyles as the wind starts to pick up. Right in our face. Fastball high. 2-2. Yeah, the wind has turned. It's been blown out to right all day. Now it's blowing straight in from center field. And Dial hits it right into that wind. And it's going to knock it down for Nieves, who will make the catch. It's 4 in a row, retired by Boyles. 1 away in the 6th. Now Chris Lynham, who's 0 for 2. A couple of flyouts for the third baseman.
Batting for Wheaton, number 47, Chris Lynham.
4 for his last 22 at the plate. This is a Wheaton offense that about 2 weeks ago was hitting about 335 as a team. It's been, I would say, a collective struggle here over the last couple of weeks. Team batting average down to about 315 now as Lynham clubs it to left, but that pushes foul.
Yeah, and you would think this would be a game they would be able to maybe find a groove again.
Yep.
The opportunity they were going to have with balls over the plate, and it's been a little bit more of the same. They had that first inning, but haven't quite been able to string them together.
Haven't been able to find those. You keep that line moving. You talk in that first inning about hitting being contagious. They had 4 hits in the first. They only have 3 since. They had 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and only 1 base runner in each one of those innings. So none of that keeping the line moving. The 0-2 from Boyles to Lynham. Fastball misses outside, 1-2. And with the way Boyles has been pitching today, you almost think he's going to get that call. He's been around the plate, and many times when a pitcher's around the plate, he's going to get those close ones. 1-2 now to Lynham. Downstairs, 2-2.
Yeah, we've seen Elmhurst take advantage of calls that maybe they thought were going the other way. Let's see if the Thunder, this time with maybe a little bit of a new life, have a chance to do the same.
2-2. Lynham back up over our heads, staying alive at 2-2. Sean Dimitrovich and then Nathan Headland, if anybody reaches here in the 6th. Thunder have lost 2 in a row. Fastball misses outside. Count goes full. I think the Thunder snuck up on some teams to start this CCIW season, and now all of a sudden it's not a secret. Payoff pitch hits him on the front elbow, so Lynham will be a 1-out base runner. I mentioned earlier that the Thunder were slated or picked to finish 7th in the preseason CCIW poll, so maybe some lower expectations, and they came out in conference play and they were winning some ball games and I think surprised some teams, and teams that maybe thought they were going to have an easy time against this Thunder squad, and that wasn't the case. First pitch to Sean is popped to left, shallow left. Frega makes the catch. And almost without fail in this game so far, Tyler, when the Thunder have not been patient at the plate, they have popped out, they've flown out on the first or second pitch. I mean, you've said this multiple times when they've had success in this game. They've taken Boyles deeper into the count.
Yeah, especially after you see a big count like that with the hit by pitch after 7 pitches or whatever that last sequence was. surprising to see them go and swing at the first pitch just because you don't give yourself a chance. Maybe ball gets away, you move the runner to second. You cut down your offensive opportunities to be creative, and I think that's what's kind of plagued them a little bit here is as soon as they get something going, they kind of hit themselves right into a problem again by not allowing an opportunity for maybe a base runner to move over or for a pitch to be thrown right where you want it.
Right, now you almost need an extra base hit to bring home Lynham from first base where, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with Dimitrovich at the plate. Like you said, maybe the ball skips away from the catcher, and now all of a sudden Lynham's at second base with 1 out. He's there with 2, though. 2-1 on Headland. In the dirt, 3-1. Ryan Cartwright on deck. Thunder trying to put 2 base runners on for the first time since the first inning. If Headland can reach here with 2 outs in the 6th. Pops it up. Shallow right. Evan Johnson in over by the foul line. Makes the catch. And once again, the Thunder get 1 base runner, and that is it. We go to the 7th. Still 5-3. Jonah Moulton out there for his 2nd inning of work. Pitched a scoreless 6th. First time all day that Elmhurst was set down 1-2-3. Moulton with a strikeout. Now he'll face the 2-3-4 hitters for the Blue Jays. Evan Johnson, Brett Veracruz, and Zach Conrad. First pitch rolled over to the right side. Headland gobbles it up, flips it to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. Evan Johnson now 0 for 3. Now Brett Veracruz, he's 0 for 3. Reached on an error, and he's grounded out to Chris Lynham at third base twice since then. Thunder still out hitting Elmhurst today, 7-5, but
The shortstop for the Blue Jays, number 8.
3 walks and a hit by pitch by David Levengood. 3 of those 4 have scored, and that's your difference in the game. Ball 1.
Yeah, that and the errors, too, have made the difference in that first inning, and the ball getting away at first base as well. So it's been the miscues kind of once again, and that's kind of been the story.
Popped foul down the right field line, out of play. And that's a great point. You know, we talked in that first inning, Evan Johnson was able to stay alive, foul tipping a ball out of the mitt of Ryan Cartwright. He was then hit by a pitch, Brett Veracruz, an error by Nathan Headland. Johnson came in to score on a base hit by Zach Conrad, and then back in the 5th, a throwing error by David Levengood allowed a run to score. Foul tipped at the plate. So just not a particularly clean game for Wheaton. They haven't, I mean, they're still in this, only down 2, but the walks, the errors have hurt them tonight.
Yeah, you thought after that first inning the Thunder were going to be able to play with a lead for a while, and It didn't last long, and I think that changed the nature of things a little bit, and they've found themselves in a hole for the rest of the game since then, and I think it's been hard for them to get things going. And they need to find more zeros from this bullpen.
They'll send 9-1-2 to the plate in the 7th. But Jonah Moulton trying to deal with Brett Veracruz here in the 7th. Veracruz stays alive at 2-2. These two teams will play a doubleheader tomorrow. A 2-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle past Jack Gill into center field for a base hit. So Veracruz, his first hit of the game, the first hit that Jonah Moulton has given up is with one out in the 7th. So a pair tomorrow at Elmhurst at 1 and 4. And then the Thunder have a non-conference game on Thursday at Aurora before coming back home next Friday night against Carthage for a game. A lot of road games here in this stretch for the Thunder. They have home game today, home game on the 17th, and then they're not home again until the 24th. So quick math tells me that's 9 road games and 2 home games in their next 11, including tonight. So going to have to get it done away from Lee Pfund. This is Zach Conrad, who's 2 for 3. They do finish with 4 in a row at home. Illinois Wesleyan and then 3 non-conference games against UChicago. 0-1 misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the 7th. Thunder down 5-3. Line drive caught by Headland, and Nathan had that defended perfectly and made the leaping catch.
Yeah, there's good defense and then there's good alignment, and right there, that was just right place, set up perfectly. Headland didn't have to move an inch.
And thankfully, he's 6 feet and not 5'10". If he's 5'10", that's probably into right center field, but he makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Now, Rock Smith, who's 1 for 3, but that one was a solo home run to straightaway center field back in the 3rd, and he'll take ball 1 inside.
So you're telling me at 5'8", I'm not making that play out there at second base?
I mean, I guess it depends on your vertical.
I mean, yeah, you're going to put me out there, I guess. I'll take some.
If you're 5'8" and you've got a 40-inch vertical, yeah, you're probably making that catch. But me, I'm 5'8". My vertical these days is about 9. I'm not making that catch.
Yeah, you throw the glove up there.
Just throw the glove up in the air, try to knock it down.
Something like that.
1 ball, 1 strike on Smith. That's why I sit here and do this.
Yeah.
Lined into left field, down for a base hit, cut off by Dimitrovic as Veracruz will move to second on the second hit of the game for Rock Smith. Those who can do, those who can't talk about it.
That's right.
That's how I've always looked at it. 2 away for Timothy O'Connell. And O'Connell last time came up with a runner at second base and 2 outs and lined a double down the left field line. You can see Lynham now pinching that third base line a little bit because of that. See if Moulton can get out of this 2-on, 2-out jam, keep it a 2-run game. Ground ball hit to Headland. Nathan flips it to Gill, who steps on the second base bag. And that's 2 shutout innings for Jonah Moulton. Time to stretch here in Carroll Stream. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and Jonathan Boyle's still out there. He needs 1 out to record his longest outing of the season. He's gone 6 multiple times, back on March 7th against Illinois Tech, and then back-to-back outings against Kalamazoo and Milliken. He'll face Ryan Cartwright, Tyler Burr, Braden Engel here in the 7th. First pitch to Ryan is called strike 1. Cartwright's 0 for 2, ground out and a fly out. 0-1, Cartwright waits back, but fouls it off to the right. Ryan had a 4-game hit streak snapped in his last appearance. It was game 1 against North Park. And he bloops a single into right field for a base hit. So waiting back on it, and good things happen as he gets the leadoff base runner on for the Thunder. This is the 3rd time in the last 4 innings that Wheaton has put their lead man on here in the game, but they haven't scored since the 1st.
Yeah, things got to change, and they got a good opportunity here with the top of the order up. Get Cartwright in over there at first base.
It helps when the bottom of your order can get on in front of your guys at the top. Let's see if Burr can turn into an RBI guy. He's 2 for 3 today. He's reached base 3 times, a single, a double, and then he reached on an error in the bottom of the 1st. 8th hit of the game for Wheaton, out hitting Elmhurst 8-7, but they have 3 errors on the evening. That wind. You look at the flag out there in center field, you would be led to believe that there is no wind, but I can feel it, so I know that there is.
Yeah, that's got to be an optical illusion out there because...
Well, the flag's not moving, man.
That doesn't make any sense because I'm feeling what feels like huge freezing gusts right into my face.
Yep. No, what you feel is real. 1 ball, no strikes on Burr. Fastball outside corner called strike 1. Been a good game for Tyler, and we talked earlier about how the Thunder need him to kind of get back to what he was doing in the first dozen or so games of his collegiate career when he had multi-hit games in 10 of his first 12. He's got a multi-hit game today, but he's down here 1 and 2. I mean, baseball, obviously it's a team game, and, one guy usually doesn't make or break the lineup, but I think you underestimate what that on-base percentage from James Scott did for the rest of this Thunder lineup, getting on base at nearly a 60% clip. And you take that bat out of the lineup, and you're just seeing some innings that maybe aren't being stretched like they would have been with James in the lineup.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who's going to step up and be that person they can trust to get on the base paths and wreak some havoc. And today they've just kind of run themselves, 1, into trouble with the pickoff at first base, but 2, they've left some runners out there, especially that leadoff double that weren't able to be cashed in.
Yeah, that's a run that you look back and you might lose this game by 2, and ultimately it may not matter. But that's a run you feel like you have to get home when your leadoff man gets on base and you got 3 guys coming up in Engel, Gill, and Schofield. You expect to get at least 1 out of that. That's skied pretty well out to center by Engel, but Nieves will make the catch. Once again, the Thunder get a leadoff base hit, and that runner is right where he was 2 batters ago. Cartwright's still at first now with 2 outs for Gill. This has really been the way things have gone all day. The Thunder, I mentioned, have had their leadoff man on 3 times in the last 4 innings, and he hasn't moved from that spot. Cartwright back in safely. Gill 1 for 3 today. That one, a 3-run homer to right in the 1st. His 4th home run of the season. Takes fastball high. Boyle's still not even at 100 pitches yet here through 6 2/3. That was pitch number 93. It helps when over 70% of your pitches in the game are for strikes. He's thrown 67 strikes of his 93 pitches. It's fouled off the front foot of Jack. The development from Jack Gill from his freshman to his sophomore year really has been remarkable to see the way the power has developed. Had no home runs last season. And he'll pop this to left. Frege makes the catch. And once again, the Thunder get the leadoff hitter on. Strandham go to the 8th. Still a 2-run game. Jonah Moulton will continue on. 2 good innings for the freshman so far. He's given up a couple of hits, but no runs in his 2. And the Thunder will see if he can give him 3 scoreless as he'll face 7, 8, 9 here in the 8th inning. Javier Cervantes, Landon Truong, and Marty Frege. First pitch to Cervantes is high and away, ball 1. Elmhurst looking for their first conference victory of the season. They're 0-5 in conference play, 6-18 overall. But they lead here 5-3 in the 8th. And it's 2-0 on Cervantes. David Levengood went the first 5, gave up 4 hits, 5 runs, walked 3, struck out 5. 2 balls, no strikes on the designated hitter, Javier Cervantes, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. And there's strike 1. Cervantes walked and scored in the 2nd. That 2nd inning was a tough one for Levengood. He walked the 7, 8 hitters, then gave up a double to Marty Frege. Was able to get out of it, but that sort of set the tone for the way this game was going to go. 2-1, Cervantes, did he hold up? He did not. 2-2. So Moulton evens the count at 2. And it's official. I can see my breath here at Lee Pfund Stadium. The 2-2 from Moulton. Breaking ball fouled off. Jonah, 2 innings so far, has a strikeout. He's given up a pair of singles. And the count's even at 2. Moulton kicks and deals. Popped down the right field line. That ball is twisting foul. Thunder 8th. Schofield, Dial, Wynham. 4-5-6. Offense has not been able to figure out Jonathan Boyles at all here this evening. 4 hits in the first, 4 hits since the first. And it's 2-2 here from Moulton to Cervantes. Jonah the high set, the 2-2. Inside, ball 3.
Hit her walk right here, bud. Hit her walk. Let's go.
You hear Jonah, you see Jonah putting his glove over his left ear, listening to that pitch call. And the payoff. Walked him. So fell behind 2-0, even the count at 2, and then lost Cervantes, who walks for a second time. And here comes Ryan Cartwright to talk to Jonah Moulton. Landon Truong is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts and a walk. Freshman out of Hawthorne Woods.
And we'll see how Moulton deals with this situation with the leadoff runner on first. But regardless of the way this plays out, I think you can be impressed with the way that he's gone up there and pitched today in relief. They definitely hoping they found something in his arm.
Hey, those middle relievers, they kind of go under the radar, right? They only get noticed when they get blown up, right? When you go out there and you give up 4 runs in an inning or something. But when you come out here and you do your job and you throw a couple of scoreless and you keep your team in it, not a lot of people see that stuff. But those are important innings because obviously it's helping keep you in that game, but it's also keeping you from having to go to another arm when, again, you've got 18 innings of baseball to play tomorrow. Fastball high up over the head of Truong, 1-1. Cervantes, 1 stolen base on the season. Elmhurst has 3 steals in the game. They've been caught once. Moulton with the 1-1. That's into the trees, I think. Into the pond over there. 1-2. See if Moulton can put away Truong, who struck out twice already today.
Keep battling, keep battling.
They're calling obstruction on Charlie Schofield over at first base. So going down to second is Cervantes. Runner interference. Cervantes down to second. So a fielder is not, at this point anymore, allowed to block the bag, actively block the bag. But it didn't look like that's what Charlie was doing there.
Yeah, I'm surprised from where the position of the umpire, he was over there, closer to second base, but he seemed to call that right away. I don't know if that was something that he had noticed earlier, and this was the time that he decided to call that, but he seemed to be almost ready to call that as soon as the attempt went over there.
So runner at second now with nobody out. Still 1-2 on Truong. Now a strikeout, pretty critical here for Jonah Moulton. The 1-2. Popped up. Stays 1-2. The Thunder offense scored 214 runs in 25 games. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout for Truong. Second strikeout for Moulton. 1 away here in the 8th. It's over 8 runs a game. 214 runs in 25 games, but they scored 3 in their first 3 batters of the game and nothing since. Marty Frega. And you're going to have games like that, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how good your offense is. The 27 Yankees got shut out, I think, 9 times during that season, during that 1927 season. So it happens. You just don't want it to happen when your pitchers are giving you good innings, right? When your pitchers are up there keeping you in the game, you want to be able to come through and pick up enough to get the job done. Grounded to shorts. Gill with the play, the throw, and he's out. Oh, whoa, safe at first. Looked out from my angle. Marty Frega picks up an infield single. Great play by Jack Gill, though, to save a run on that diving play. And Wheaton now with runners at the corners, and here comes Matt Husted, and I think that's gonna be it for Jonah Moulton. That was a bang play over at first. He looked out, but the call not going the way of the Thunder, and Moulton, I think, will depart here after 2 1/3 innings of relief. Caleb Henderson into the game for the Thunder here with runners at the corners and 1 out. And Caleb's been good as of late, just 2 earned runs in his last 5 2/3 innings, including back-to-back scoreless appearances against Augustana and North Central. And he'll come up here with Javier Cervantes at third, Marty Frega at first. 1 out. Aiden Nieves at the plate, and it looks like we got a problem with the pitch comm. You can't hear the pitch being called, and I think now we're good to go. Oh, technology. Let's have Ryan paint his fingernails and drop the 1, 2, or 3. Let's go old school.
Yeah, this always seems to be an issue. This still happens up in the major leagues. You see problems with the pitch comm. It's always something, isn't it?
I don't know why we can't just use fingers. I don't know what's wrong with throwing down number 1 for the fastball, 2 for the curveball. Squaring to bunt, and the fastball is thrown high to Nieves, who's 0 for 3. That's where the old man in me comes out, That's baseball, pitch comm. I don't see the reason for it. You got a catcher back there who's got a perfectly good hand. He can drop down the signal. The only reason that you would need a pitch comm is if a pitcher's got more than 5 pitches, right? I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I like the seeing what the catcher's going to throw down, and I guess it may. How much simpler does it even really make it? Either way, I guess.
2-0 now from Caleb. Runner takes off from first. Breaking ball is in there for a strike, and Frega will steal second. It's another stolen base for Elmhurst, their 4th of the game for Frega. That's his 2nd, and now runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And a couple of big batters here as Wheaton's still in this, just down 2, but a base hit here opens things up quite a bit. 2-1. Another curveball over called strike 2. And Caleb on the season, a 3.72 ERA. This is his 11th appearance. He has 6 strikeouts in 9 2/3 innings, but 10 walks. Another kid with pretty electric stuff when he can keep it in the strike zone. And that ball's drilled to left. Dimitrovich is on the track, and he makes the catch. No, he drops it. The ball pops out of his glove, and into second goes Nieves. Dimitrovich made the catch, but banged into the wall. Dropped the glove, dropped the ball, and a run will come in to score for Elmhurst here in the 8th.
Yeah, that's a bad break out there in left. I think you're right. I think the fence might have knocked that one out.
He was there. He was there in time. That wind blowing in now, I think, knocked it down a little bit. But Elmhurst now up 6-3 with runners on second and third and 1 out. Going the books as a double for Nieves, who has a pair of runs knocked in today. Johnson challenged with the high heat. Doesn't catch up with it. Nothing in 1. Johnson 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Curveball. That's going to land in no man's land. That will score a pair. The bloop single to right by Evan Johnson, and Elmhurst has broken it open here in the 8th. It's a 3-run 8th inning, and Elmhurst is now up 8-3. The line on Jonah Moulton is complete. 2 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Aiden Nieves' run is charged to Caleb Henderson, and now it'll be Brett Veracruz with a runner at first and 1 out. 3 runs in here in the 8th for the Blue Jays.
And that walk was the leadoff walk, if I'm not correct, in this inning.
Yep, that leadoff walk, the dreaded leadoff walk. It's called that for a reason. Thunder pitchers have walked 4 in this game. 3 of them have come home to score. They've walked 4 batters, hit a batter, and 4 of those 5 have scored. So that's free base runners for Elmhurst, and they've taken advantage of it. Runner goes. High fastball. The throw is not in time. That's another stolen base. Evan Johnson will steal second. That's his 4th stolen base of the year, and that's now 5 stolen bases in the game. This is a team that came in with 21 on the season. They have a quarter of that total here today.
Yeah, they've been taking advantage, and they've been going on the right pitches, too.
Those curveballs. Yep. 2 and 1 on Veracruz, who's 1 for 4. So big inning for Elmhurst here in the 8th. A 3-run 8th. Looking for more with a runner at second and 1 out. Fastball high, 3-1. Well, this is why you play the game, right? Thunder come in with the reigning CCIW Pitcher of the Week, pitcher who made the D3 Team of the Week this past week, David Levengood, who had been almost untouchable in his last 3 starts against a team that was 6-18 on the season. And baseball being what it is, you look up and the Thunder are down 5 in the 8th. Zach Conrad now has got a pair of hits, and I think that's going to be it for Caleb. Slow walk from Matt Husted out to the mound, and we are going to have a pitching change. So tough outing for Caleb Henderson. Thunder down by 5 in the 8th. New pitcher for the Thunder is the sophomore out of Colorado Springs, 6'8" Austin Elmhurst. Elmhurst making his 7th appearance of the season. He's thrown 4 1/3 innings thus far. 5 walks, 4 Ks for the sophomore, and he'll face Zach Conrad with 2 on and 1 out in the 8th. Caleb Henderson faced 3 batters. Gave up 2 hits and a walk. He's responsible for Johnson and Veracruz. He gave up a run, and now it's Conrad. Elmas, first pitch fastball over strike 1. Thunder with 2 6'8" pitchers on their roster. The other, the freshman Carson Greer. Both runners go, and both runners will steal. That is 7 stolen bases in this game for the Elmhurst Blue Jays.
Yeah, they've clearly figured something out because, as you said, now the team that likes to steal very many bags, and they've been going at all the right times and have really taken advantage.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 in scoring position now. Downstairs for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Conrad 2 for 4, had an RBI single in the first. He singled and scored in the 5th. Last time up against Jonah Moulton, he lined out to Nathan Headland. Ball spiked, good block by Cartwright, 3-1.
Be smart. Go 31, kid. Hitter's time. All right, looking for your pitch. You don't like it? Let it go. You get another.
3 balls, 1 strike. Johnson at third, Veracruz at second. Fastball in there, called strike 2. Elmas' last appearance. I think my computer froze up. Literally, I think it's frozen. It won't load, won't do anything.
That's how I feel right now.
I can't tell you when his last appearance is because my computer has decided to stop working on us. The 3-2 misses low, ball 4. Zach Conrad will load the bases. Bring up Brock Smith. Smith 2 for 4, a home run and a single.
Now batting for Elmhurst, number 21, Rock Smith.
Grounded foul past third base. 0-1. Well, now, I mean, down by 5 here in the 8th. You still have 6 outs to work with, but I think the mission at this point is to save your big arms for tomorrow and, you know, try to get into the doubleheader tomorrow without using your Kesslers and your Van Hooks and some of those bigger arms out of the bullpen and try to save them. You know, maybe you go to them a little bit early tomorrow with a lead because you want to try to take game 2 and at least get a split. Fastball high.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on what, 1, if the Thunder can get out of this inning without giving up any more, and 2, if they can put anything on the board in the bottom of the 8th. Otherwise, I would expect them, you know, not to wave the white flag, but they'll be pretty cautious in the way they decide to play it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Another good block by Cartwright. Yeah, and I think you're right. You know, if the Thunder don't, if this goes into the bottom of the 8th, 8-3, and the Thunder don't score in the bottom of the 8th, you probably aren't going to one of your main guys out of the pen to keep it a 5-run game. But if you can get back within a run, you know, maybe at that point you do. But still, a lot of stuff needs to happen before you can get there. And the count's now full on Rock Smith. No place to put him. Johnson at third, Veracruz at second, Conrad at first. Yeah, my computer has just decided it doesn't want to work anymore. All right. That's cool. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. Elmas comes home. Popped back up over our heads, and it will stay 3-2. Blue Jays now out hitting the Thunder with their 3 hits here in the 8th. 8 runs, 10 hits, and an error for the Blue Jays. 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for Wheaton. Another payoff. It's low ball 4. Walks in a run. Another RBI for Rock Smith. Evan Johnson comes in to score. And it's 9-3. Well, I think you can just refer to this as one of those games, right? You know, I mean, we talk about baseball being a strange game, and you got one of the hottest pitchers in D3 on the mound here today for Wheaton, and it just didn't go our way this afternoon.
Yeah, that's just the nature of baseball, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And you and I talked about this right at the very beginning of the game. We see this very often where an offense struggles when they have their quote-unquote ace on the mound, right? I don't know if you feel like you're just taking your foot off the accelerator or what it is, but given how well Levengood has pitched lately, you think, all right, Thunder score, especially in that first inning. You come out of the first up 3-1, you're like, all right, things are in good shape, right? But just nothing after that from the offense. Has just been a terrific pitching performance by Jonathan Boyles. Did his best David Levengood impersonation here tonight. And the Thunder are on the short end. It's fought off the top of the Elmhurst dugout. Still only one out. This is the 9th man to hit in the inning. Timothy O'Connell is 1 for 4.
Yeah, I think just the approach offensively has been better from Elmhurst today than it has been from the Thunder. They've been a little bit more patient. They've been much more efficient in picking their spots, as you mentioned. They only got 10 hits and the 9 runs to go with it. It just hasn't been a timely hitting for the Thunder, unfortunately. 7
walks issued by Thunder pitching, and when the pitching staff gets into trouble, it's because of that. It's because they are not putting the ball over the plate, and they're giving up additional outs. 3 walks from Levengood, 1 from Moulton, 1 from Henderson, 2 so far from Elmas. He is 1-2 on O'Connell. I flinched. Darn it.
Yeah, I tried not to, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt today.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
We're learning. There's still lots of season left.
Yeah. So Elmas's last appearance was on the 6th against North Park. Gave up a hit and a run in an inning of work. His best appearance was back on the 7th against Concordia, Wisconsin. Gave up a run and 3 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. So O'Connell's battling with him here. Elmas trying to put him away and get the second out of the inning. The only out of the inning, a Landon Truong strikeout. That was 7 batters ago. The 1-2. Again, fouled off. It's a good at bat by Timothy O'Connell right here. A very long top of the 8th inning for Elmhurst. They scored 4 times, 3 hits, 4 walks. This is well low, 2-2.
Two pitching changes later, we still got ourselves with 1 out. And bases loaded.
Yep. The 2-2 now from Elmas. Misses inside, 3-2. Now, we were at 1 hour and 42 minutes when this inning started. We're now at 2 hours and 11 minutes. Another foul ball. It's a great at bat by O'Connell. Bases loaded, 1 out, Thunder down 6. Payoff. Misses blow, ball 4. And another run will come in on a walk. And this game has gone sideways for the Thunder here in the 8th inning. Elmhurst with 5 runs in the inning. Bases still loaded. 1 out, and Cervantes at the plate, and he'll face another pitcher. So the Thunder are going to go to their 4th pitcher of the inning here in the 8th inning. We'll be right back. Thunder down by 7. Cole Daggett will be the fourth pitcher of the inning for the Thunder, the 5'9" righty out of Double Oak, Texas. He's only pitched once prior to this appearance. That was back on February 21st, so it's been a month and a half since he's seen the mound in live action, and he'll come up with the bases loaded and one out, and he'll fire the first pitch into Javier Cervantes for a strike. Cervantes walked leading off the eighth. And umpire wasn't ready, so pitcher has to make eye contact with the ump to make sure everybody's ready. Now we're ready to go. Oh, 1 in the dirt, blocked by Cartwright. So Austin Elmas faced 3 batters, walked them all. Caleb Henderson faced 3 batters, gave up 2 hits, walked 1. All 3 of his runners scored. It's 10-3 Elmhurst in the 8th. Down and in, 2-1. Chopped foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Daggett threw 2 1/3 innings against Covenant back on February 21st. His only other appearance of the 2026 season. Appeared in 2 games last year for Wheaton. 2-2 goes all the way to the backstop, and coming home to score is Conrad. Everybody moves up on the pass ball, and it's 11-3. Five runs on 3 hits. 5 walks. This inning will not go to Cooperstown, I can guarantee you that. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled back, I didn't flinch.
There you go.
I'm learning. Cervantes has been on base 3 times today, a couple of walks and an error. He was robbed of a hit by Chris Lynham back in the 3rd on a lunging play to Chris's left. The 3-2. Ball 4. Bases are loaded again. That is the 6th walk of the inning by Thunder pitching. Now Landon Truong. Truong's had a tough game. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. He walked and scored a run in the 2nd, but strikeout in the 4th, strikeout in the 6th, strikeout this inning, and this will be an extra base hit down the left field line. That will score at least 2. Running through the stop sign, and just the way things have gone here as Cervantes ran through the stop sign, but the throw missed the cutoff man and allowed Cervantes to get back to 3rd. It's a 2-run double, and this is an 8-run 8th. It's 13-3.
Yeah, just when you thought this was going to be maybe a bend or break inning, if a chance the Thunder, 8 runs later and a 2-run ball game has gotten a little out of hand.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of hand, and we'll get a mound visit here. Thunder coaches wearing a path on this turf between home plate and the pitcher's mound here in the 8th inning. This is the 4th pitcher of the inning and the 3rd to not retire a batter. That's 10 straight Blue Jays have reached here in the 8th inning.
And there's still only 1 out.
2 more in scoring position. Well, this game got out of hand in a hurry here in the inning. I shouldn't say in a hurry. This top of the 8th has taken 30 minutes, so it hasn't been in a hurry, but it's gotten out of hand. We'll just kind of leave it at that. And now you're just trying to get through this and without anybody getting hurt. Marty Frigg has been on base 3 times today with a single, a double, And a walk. And foul the first pitch back, 0-1. Frege with an RBI double back in the second. He singled earlier in this inning. It was an infield single on a bang-bang play over at first base. I thought he was out, and whole complexion of this inning could have changed if he had been called out down there at first base. He was the first of now 10 in a row to reach. And he hits this well out to right field. Tyler Burr is there, though. He'll make the catch. Tagging from third is Cervantes, and he will score the 9th run of the inning. It's a sac fly to right from Marty Frege. Truong stays where he is, 2 outs now. As Elmhurst, their baseball team has scored more runs in this game than their football team scored in most of their games this year.
Yeah, 14-3. You would think that maybe this is potentially a first half of football game, and we're in the 8th inning of baseball.
Ball 1 low to Nieves. Nieves with an RBI double earlier in the inning. That came off of Caleb Henderson. And he drives this down the left field line, but it'll twist foul. He was the one who hit the ball out to left field, and Sean Dimitrovich made the catch initially, but when he hit the wall, the ball popped out of his glove. A 9-run 8th has turned this one into a bit of a laugher for the Blue Jays. It's popped up. I don't think that'll stay in the field to play. Actually, it bounces right on top of the Thunder dugout for strike number 2. You know, and you're going to have games like this, and the easiest thing you can do is forget about it and come back and play 18 tomorrow. Thunder have outperformed expectations this year. They're going to be coming into tomorrow, though, on a 3-game losing streak, and it's really going to be time for them to sort of buckle in and, snap what has been a difficult stretch here, losing 2 in a row to North Park, and then obviously this one today. They've got a schedule down the stretch that is beneficial. They just have to figure it out as Nieves goes down on strikes. A 9-run 8th sends us to the bottom of the 8th in a 14-3 game. Is he still out there? Yeah, Boyle's still out there. I'm going to try to let him finish. When we go to the bottom of the 8th, and the mercy rule is in effect here in the 8th, as Jonathan Boyles is back out there to try to finish it. A 9-run 8th inning. Certainly didn't think this game we'd be looking at a mercy rule in the 8th, but we are. If the Thunder don't score 2, this one is all over. Charlie Schofield, Mason Dial, Chris Lynham in the 8th. Charlie 0 for 3. Grounded back to Boyles off his glove. And he will collect in time to reach higher Charlie Schofield, who's 0 for 4 now. 1 out in the 8th inning. Now Mason Dial, who's 1 for 3. This game started out so promisingly, too. Tyler, the 3-run homer in the first. First 3 batters reached, and you look up, and we're up 3-1, and we're thinking, all right, we got 11 good on the mound, have a 2-run lead after the first, but Elmhurst just battled back as Dial out to right. 2 quick outs. Jonathan Boyles looking to finish this one off. 8 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He's been locked in since giving up the home run to Gill. He has not made a single mistake here today. And now he'll face Chris Lynham with 2 outs. It's in there, called strike 1. Chris 0 for 2 today. No balls, 1 strike on the Thunder third baseman. And that one misses just outside. I'm a little surprised to see Boyles out there, Tyler, just because he sat on the bench for 40 minutes in this cold weather.
Yeah, and still making a play in the first comebacker.
Mm-hmm. Popped to the right, the Thunder down to their last strike. But, you know, usually late in a game, especially when it's this cold out, you're going to get that pitcher out of the game. But you want to let him try to finish things off. I think he's earned that, given how well he's pitched today. Gave up 4 hits in the first. He's only given up 4 hits since. 1-2 to Lynham. Ooh, close pitch on 1-2, called the ball, 2-2. Boyles with the 2-2, popped out of play. This is one of those games where if you could dig a hole out in center field, you just bury the baseball, right?
Yeah.
Can't do it here on this turf, but maybe you can ceremoniously dig a hole and bury the ball. The 2-2 to Lynham, swing and a miss, and that will do it. What a performance by Jonathan Boyles. Goes the distance, strikes out 4, and the Thunder get absolutely steamrolled here today by Elmhurst. They lose 14-3. 14 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for Elmhurst, 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Thunder. Wheaton drops to 12-14 on the season, 5-5 in conference play. Elmhurst improves to 7-18, 1-5 in CCIW play. My broadcast partner, Tyler Collison, for our entire production team here at Lee Pfund Stadium. My name's Aaron Schellen. Thunder get blown out today, 14-3. They're back for a doubleheader tomorrow at Elmhurst, and we'll talk to you next Friday right here from Lee Pfund. Stay warm, God bless, and be kind to each other. Take care.